In 1986, Peruvian soldiers stormed 3 prisons in one night. By the time it was over, hundreds of inmates were dead, some of them executed after they'd already surrendered. That's where this list peaks. These are the 5 deadliest prison riots ever recorded, ranked by death toll. We start at 5. Number 5. New Mexico State Penitentiary. February 2nd, 1980. 33 dead. 36 hours of chaos. Not one hostage died. Not one guard was killed. Every single death came from inside the population itself. At 1:40 in the morning, inmates overpowered a guard during a routine check. Within an hour, they controlled the entire prison. Their first target wasn't the staff holding the keys, it was the men locked in protective custody. Informants, sex offenders, prisoners other inmates had waited years to reach. They were dragged out and killed with a brutality that shocked even hardened investigators. Bodies mutilated, identities lost for weeks. More than 200 people were injured before it was over. Today, the wing where it happened still stands. The state now runs guided tours through it, called Old Main, the only prison riot site in America you can actually walk through. New Mexico's dead were killed behind locked doors, inmate against inmate. Number 4 proves the people sent in to save you can be just as deadly. That's Attica. Number 4. Attica Prison Riot. New York, September 1971. 43 dead, 4 days of standoff. Only 1 guard died at the hands of the inmates who started this riot. The other 9 hostages who died were killed by the rescue sent to save them. On September 9th, inmates seized the prison and took hostages, demanding basic humane treatment, food, medical care, an end to abuse. For 4 days, negotiators tried and failed. On the morning of September 13th, Governor Nelson Rockefeller ordered state troopers to retake the prison by force. Troopers opened fire into the yard. 33 inmates and 9 hostages died in that gunfire alone. For years, officials let the public believe the inmates had killed the hostages. They hadn't. Governor Rockefeller's own investigating commission later confirmed it in writing. Its report called the retaking, quote, "the bloodiest one-day encounter between Americans since the Civil War, with the sole exception of the Indian massacres of the 19th century. Attica proved a rescue could outkill a riot." Number 3 proves a prison can kill just as fast without a single bullet. That's Topo Chico. Number 3. Topo Chico Prison Riot. Monterrey, Mexico, February 11th, 2016. 49 dead, 1 night. Not one firearm was used. Every death came from fists, shanks, and fire. For years, Topo Chico hadn't really been run by the state. It had been run by the inmates, rival cartel factions each holding a wing-like territory. When 2 of those factions went to war in the early hours of the morning, guards were outnumbered before they even reached the block. The fighting moved fast and close. No distance, no cover, nowhere to run. By sunrise, 49 men were dead, almost all of them beaten or stabbed to death. The prison never really recovered. Years later, Mexican authorities shut it down for good, transferring the remaining inmates out and closing the site that gangs had run for a decade. Topo Chico killed without firing a single shot. Number 2 proves that when the state does the shooting, the numbers only get worse. That's Carandiru. Number 2. Carandiru Massacre. Carandiru Penitentiary, São Paulo, Brazil, October 2nd, 1992. 111 dead, 20 minutes. 20 minutes is less time than a sitcom episode. In that window, police fired over 3,500 rounds. The riot started small, in a single cell block. Rather than negotiate, officials called in the military police. Roughly 340 officers, commanded by Colonel Ubiratan Guimares, stormed the complex. Not one officer died. 111 inmates did. Investigators later found many had already surrendered before they were executed. Guimares was convicted in 2001 and sentenced to 632 years. In February 2006, a court voted to overturn it, accepting that he was only following orders. 7 months later, he was found shot dead in his own apartment. The case was never solved. Brazil eventually tore the prison down. In 2002, workers demolished the cell blocks where the killing happened, and a public park now sits on the ground, built directly on top of what used to be Latin America's largest prison. Carandiru proved a raid could outkill a riot 40 times over. But number 1 didn't take 20 minutes. It took 2 nights, 3 prisons, and more bodies than the other 4 riots combined. Number 1. The Peruvian Prison Massacres. El Frontón, Lurigancho, and Santa Barbara, Peru. June 1986. Over 200 dead, some counts closer to 300. Some of the dead had already surrendered before they were killed. Inmates affiliated with the Shining Path insurgency staged coordinated uprisings inside all three facilities at once. It was as much a political statement as a prison revolt, and the government's response was total. Peru's military was sent in with orders that left little room for surrender. At El Frontón, an island prison, over 100 inmates were killed. At Lurigancho, well over 100 more died. Investigators later determined dozens had been executed after the fighting had already stopped. Counting Santa Barbara, the toll climbed past 200, with some estimates reaching 300 once the disappeared were factored in. It remains, by a wide margin, the deadliest prison riot ever recorded. Decades later, Peru is still counting the bodies. In 1996, the Inter-American Court of Human Rights ruled Peru had violated the right to life at El Frontón and ordered compensation to the victims' families, along with something the government still hasn't fully done. Locate the remains and give the dead back to the people still waiting for them.